Okay, good evening. We're learning for Refuah Shalema Avram ben Chaya Sarah. Unfortunately, Avrami Weinrib, his hip went out. He had a hip replacement 8 years ago. It went out, and he's in the hospital. He needs another replacement. So Avram, one of Achevra, Avram ben Chaya Sarah for Refuah Shalema. He said that the king had to have a Sefer Torah written, and today we're going to see the halachas of the Sefer Torah. So we're up to Chaf Aleph Amid Beis. I'd say 15 lines up. Kas Sefer Torah Lishmai Tana. He should go ahead and use his father's. Amar Rabba, Afal Pisha Nichole Avoisav LaAdam Sefer Torah. Now we're not speaking about a king. We're speaking about even if a person's father leaves him a Sefer Torah, mitzvah lichtayv mishaloi. It's a mitzvah for him to write a Sefer Torah. Shenemar, Ba'ata Kisu Lechem Hashiva. So the last mitzvah of the Torah is to write a Sefer Torah. There's a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah. So we'll discuss it in a second. Esvei Abaya, because of the Sefer Torah Lishmai, Shleishna B'Shalacherim, Melech in Hedyet Lo. It's mashma, it's a special din unique to what? To a Melech, not to a Hedyet. Like Tzricha L'Shtei Torahs. He has to write two. Kedetanyo. The Kosovo es Mishnah, and Mishnah Torah, and Mishnah's Lashon is Kaisu Shmai, twice. Kaisu the Shmai Shtei Torahs, he has to write what? Mishnah, he has to write two Torahs. This is the Abayis Tarz. One that goes out and in with him. When he leaves in a Geniza where he has a place, like an arin in his house or somewhere. The one that goes in and out with him. It doesn't go to Beis HaMerchetz, and it'll be when he'll read it. I mean, Darshan reading it, it has to be in a place where you could read it, as opposed to a base hakisei. So in fact, we're going to see this. The king wore this on his arm. This was a tiny Torah he wore on his arm, and it was with him all the time. And it's really a reminder that you're a melech, but there's somebody else. Now, this very shmaka raid about a Sefer Torah. In other words, they used to go ahead and learn from Torahs. They would learn from a Torah. They didn't have art scroll, they didn't have printing press. They would learn from Megillas, they would learn from Torahs. So the mitzvah to write a Torah, is it mitzvah to write a Torah or mitzvah to write something you can learn from? And that's the big, very, very, very well-known Shitas HaRosh. The Rosh is of the opinion that when was there a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah? When you would learn from the Sefer Torah. But when there's not, you can go ahead, write, and this is put on Lalacha, Chamisha Chumshei Torah, dafim, there's dafim, like we have dafim, pages. And you could be yoitza the mitzvah with that because you're going to learn from that. You're going to learn from that. Now, here's the question. Is there still, if that's the case, and we don't learn from a Torah anymore, is there still a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah?
He's buying it.
Well, buying it, it depends. Buying it. That's why it says you get from your father. Buying it could be there's a mitzvah. Buy it could be like you wrote it. Because the person who wrote it, I'll speak about it in a second.
That might be better because you're going to learn from it also.
Yeah, well,
but
no one will learn from a Torah. No, basically you look at it's the interesting siman. It's siman reish ayin, but it doesn't say we don't say if you look at the Shulchan Aruch, it doesn't say reish ayin. It says ayin reish because reish ayin spells ra, so they have it backwards ayin reish. So ayin reish it's brought down that. And there's it's a machlokes between the Beis Yosef and the Prisha. The Prisha is of the opinion, like the Rush, that since Bisman Hazeh we don't learn from Torah, there's no mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah. That's the Prisha. The Torah brings down his father, the Rush. He brings down the Shita that we don't learn from a Torah anymore, and therefore you're yoitza by buying svarim. You're yoitza the mitzvah by buying svarim. So since you yoitza the mitzvah by Therefore, you don't have to write a Sefer Torah to be Yotze the mitzvah. Now, here's the question: is there still a mitzvah? And that's a huge machlokes between the Prisha and the Beis Yosef. Prisha, these are the two big heavy hitters who argue with the Bach, write a pirush on the Torah. Beis Yosef is of the opinion there's still a mitzvah. Beis Yosef is of the opinion there's still a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah, despite the fact that we don't learn from the Torah. There's still a mitzvah. But be aware, there's a Shitas HaRosh. Now, I'll tell you something very interesting. Well, the first thing I did when I sold my house, I bought a Sefer Torah. So, and the person I bought it from said the Sefer wrote in Eretz Yisrael, and it's going to be completed here. So it gets here, and it seems that every single letter was written, just it wasn't filled in with ink. And there's a shita that the Torah is complete then. So in fact, I bought a Sefer Torah, but I didn't write a Sefer Torah. That's what happened. And if those who were present when we filled it in was December 2019, right before COVID, we wrote the Torah, we filled it, and I was the first one to fill in. And about halfway through, the Sefer calls me over because I want you to go ahead and write a letter. So I said, I wrote one already. He goes, no, you don't understand. The guy before you passled the Torah. The guy before, when he wrote it, he messed it up. Speaks, you wrote a letter, right? Speaks, yeah. And the guy before messed it up. So I was like to write a Sefer Torah. I was so happy. I meet this guy all the time. I never tell it to him, but he wants to know I'm so nice to him.
Not possible, but if it gets possible.
Right. So I had a whole Torah, but even like every sheet there was puzzle. So therefore, but again, we pass like the Beis Yosef. So there is a mitzvah to write a Sefer Torah, but we also pass like the Rush. So you could be Yotze by buying Svarim and learning from them. That is the purpose of first and foremost of Torah. So that's the halacha of Sefer Torah brought down over here in the second parak. But in addition, the king has a special halacha of a Sefer Torah. The Gemara now, guys, is going to go and digress into something that you would never think about in a million years. The Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu brought down, man, forget the Seres Adibis, the Torah that Moshe wrote did not look anything like our Torah. Did not look anything like our Torah. Okay, it's a fascinating subject. So we're up, says the Gemara. So this king, he has to say for Torah, it goes in and out. So now we're about 10 lines up. Mazutra b'teimamar ukva. B'tchila nitna Torah liYisrael b'ksav ivri. Initially, the Torah was given to the Jews b'ksav ivri v'lashon hakodesh. In other words, two things. There's the language, and then there's how that language was written. So everyone's Maida, the original Torah was given in Lashon Kodesh. Everyone's Maida was given Lashon Kodesh. The question is, what was the manuscript? What was the exact writing? The calligraphy. So it says it was called Lashon Ivri. Chazer v'nit lehem b'mei Ezra b'ksav Ashuris, which is ours, right? For Lashon Arami. And it was given then b'mei Moshe, b'mei Ezra, in the language that, in the script that we have, but not in the Lashon that we have. With Lashon Arami. Birulem Yisrael ksav Ashuris for Lashon HaKodesh. What did Yisrael do? What we do? We chose Lashon Kodesh and Ksav Ashuris, which is what we have. V'inichul Hedyotos Ksav Ivris. They left over to the Hedyotos this original Ksav that was written for Lashon Arami and Aramaic. My Hedyotos Amrav Chisda Kutoy. Says Rav Chisda, these are the Kutoyim. Now, the Kutoyim, they came from Kuta, and the Gemara tells us that initially we had Shaila Geiraraya saying they had not a rat problem, not a rodent problem, they had a much bigger problem. They were being eaten up by lions. And they turned out to be Oivdei Avodah Zarah. They found on Har Grizim, guys, they're still on Har Grizim. The Samaritans, they're still up there. They still exist. So my muse, Swilly Bornstein, he brought in a Ramban. I sent it out, guys. This Ramban is unbelievable. This Ramban is just Peloplayim. We'll go through the Ramban in a second. And I don't know which one it is, Baruch. It's this one. It's this one. Okay. Not the first one. It's the second one. It's the one that has like art scroll letters. You'll see art scroll letters. No, it's not this one. Do you see the one with art scroll letters? Berchani Hashem. What do you see? Do you say Berchani Hashem? You see that on the screen? Someone tell me. Kenny.
Yes. We see it. We see it fine.
Berchani Hashem, guys. Listen to this.
Yes.
Berchani Hashem ad koishes achisi ubasi laako. Says that we all know the Ramban was thrown out of Spain after he won the vikuach with the priest there, and he was thrown out, and he came to Aku, and he says, I came to Aku, umatzasi sham biyad ziknei aretz. I found there among the elders of the land, matbeya kesef, a coin of silver, mefutach bituche chaysam, mitzidoya echad on one side, ke'ein makel shaked, on one side it looked like an almond branch, umitzidoya shenis on the other side, ke'ein sluchis, was like a flask. Ubishnei atzadim saviv, ksav mifutach, ber hetif. And there was some very well-written words there. The Heruach Ksav, and he didn't know what, the Ramban couldn't read it. He could not read it. The Heruach Ksav l'kutiyim, and I showed it to the Kutiyim, ukro miyad, and immediately they were able to read it right away. Ki hu Ksav ivris. This is Ksav ivris asher nishra l'kutiyim. That was left from the Kutiyim, kimoshe muski b'Sanhedrin chaf aleph amid beis. Like we just mentioned over here. The karu min atzadechad shekel hashkalim. On one side, it read shekel hashkalim. Umin atzad hasheni, it read Yerushalayim hakadosha. The oimrim ki atzuras makla shel Aroin, and the stick was the makla of Aroin. Shkeideu procheha. Right? It's palms, it's almonds, and it's blossoms. V'atzur hasheni tzitzenes hamon, and the flask was the tzitzenes hamon. It's fascinating, so fascinating, unbelievable that even the Torah Ramban showed up, and the Ramban couldn't read it. The Ramban always read Lashon Ashuris. He couldn't read this, but the Kutim could. And you see the Gemara, the Kutim were given this. I thought this was so fascinating. Mamish Peled Ployim. Ramban is in Pashas Kisisa. Pashas Kisisa, it's right there, right in the beginning. Okay. Get the next one. Wait, no, my Ksav Ivris. What exactly is Ksav Ivris that we can't read? Rav Chisda says of Chisda is Ksav Libunoa. Rashi says big oisios, like the ones we put in a kameh or a mezuzah. Tosfos says it's from a place. It's the name of a place, and they have a mashunitic way of writing. Tanya, Rabbi Yossi Omer. Ezra shetinasin Torah al yada Yisrael. Ezra was roy to be the emissary to give over the Torah to the Jews. Ilmali kodmu Moshe, unless Moshe beat him to the punch. But Moshe who Omer, Moshe Allah El Elokim. Moshe went up to Hashem, right? And Ezra who Omer, who Ezra Allah mi Bavel, Ma Aliyah Ha'amakan Torah, Afaliyah Malhalin Torah. He also went up for Torah. But Moshe who Omer va'osi tziva Hashem be'esahi lilmoid eschem chukim mishpatim. So again, the Oila and Chaykum Mishpat, you see the comparisons between what Ezra and Moshe. Even though the Torah was not given through Ezra, Nishtana al Yadai. Says Rabbi Yossi, it was changed. Pirish. The Torah given to Moshe was written in Ivrit, and he changed it to what? Ksav Ashuris. Right? Shenemar, and now we had it said the pasuk says, okay, this is some very, very difficult Aramaic. The pasuk says in Chav Beis, it says, Ukesov hanishtava kosov aramis umitorgim, and the ubesvas aramis. That the word that this ksav is ksav hanishtana, that it's supposed to be changed. Now, what are we speaking about? Guys, the introduction. 70 was the magic number. 70 was the magic number, not Marshall. 70 was the magic number. How long we were going to be in Galus for? The Goyim were busy with this. And as soon as you missed the number, they made a party. It happened to be Mei Achashverosh. It happened to be Mei Balshatza. Balshatza was the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. He makes a party. And in this party, he's so happy. He brings out the Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash. He brings out the Begadim of the Beis HaMikdash. He hears this big rash. There's a big noise because it's the Persians that he's a Chaldean. He's a Babylonian. It's the Persians and the Medes coming to get him. And all of a sudden, punk, there's words on the wall. The words on the wall were Aramaic, but they were written in Lashon Ashuris, so no one could read them. They couldn't read them. If you look at Rashi, it tells you exactly. Now, with that background, Rashi makes a lot of sense. Let's look at the top Rashi. Because of Hanishtavon, Ksav shenishtana. It's a ksav that's going to be changed. V'hai kro be'ezra kasiv. It's written by Ezra. Sheyikoisim b'yamav ksav mishuna. In his days, they wrote a ksav that changed. Shenishtana al yedei malach. The malach changed it. Shekosav. What did he write? Minei tackle uparson. That's what he wrote, and we'll see what that means soon. B'mei deniel ksiv darami. V'loshen arami. V'oimer loika halin kosva l'nikra. They weren't able to read it. They weren't able to read it. Ksav shekosav hamalach b'mei balshatza, because it was written in script. It was written in what we have as shuris, but they only read Ivris. V'yesham Yehudim harbe. There were many Jews there, and they couldn't read it. The only one who could read it was Daniel. That day, the Balshatza was taken down. That was the day that we changed from Ksav Ivrit to Ksav Lashon Kodesh. No, not Lashon Kodesh. Ksav Ashuris, right? The language was still Aramis, but he changed, right? So now, back in the Gemara, because Ksav Anishtana Kosav Aramis, Umiturgim Aramis, Uksiv Loika Holin Kosve Lemikre, they weren't able to read it. Upishrei Lahaida Lamalka, and no one was able to no one was able to give over the interpretation to the king. Uksiv es Mishnah Torah Zois. Read this Mishnah Torah. Let's see Rashi, 3 lines down. Remez lanu Moshe Rabbeinu shekasav shebimeimav, that the ksav in his day asur lishtanois min ivri ashuris. Why does it say? Write down this Mishnah Torah, or Mishnah, Lashon Mishnah, the Lashon of Mishaneh, to go ahead and make a change. It's going to change from what? From the Ksav of Ivrit to the Ksav of Ashuris. Shenosle b'mei Daniel, u'bo Ezra v'kosav b'yis Torah v'Ksav Ashuris. So there, Ezra was, in a way, Ezra gave the Torah, because what? He changed the Ksav from Ivrit to Ashuris. So Rabbi Yossi, fascinating. Now, Lo b'nikra Ashuris. Why is it called Ashuris? She'ola imahem me Ashur, came up from Bavel. Tanya, okay, this is Rabbi Yossi. Tanya, Rabbi Omer, b'tchila b'Ksav zed nitna Torah l'Yisrael. Initially, it was given Ashuris. In other words, according to Mar Ukva, the way we had it, it was given Ivrit. The Ksav was Ivris. And he's saying no. He's saying no. Originally, it was given what? It was given in Ashuris. Kima shechatu nebach lehen leroyetz. It came, it splintered up and became Ivris. V'kimin shechazu behen, and once they did tshuva, hichziru lehem. They came back and they got Ashuris. So according to Rabbi Ukva, it was Ivrit Ashuris. According to this, it was Ashuris, Ivrit Ashuris. Shenemar shuvu libitzaron, return to Bitzaron, Yishtron called Yerushalayim. Rashi says, Assyria tikva, prisoners of hope. Gamayoim magid mishnah ashav l'cha. Magid mishnah lashon of mishnah ashav l'cha. Right, and it's giving back the mishnah, meaning that was changed. Lamanikra shema Ashuris shemusheres b'ksav. It's the most beautiful of the ksav. Okay, so we have 2 pshatim. One that it was originally given Ivris, another one it was given Ashuris, and it returned. Guys, all we have what is Ashuris. That's all we have. The May Ezra was changed. It's a fascinating. The only one who could read Ivris is the Kutim. It's crazy. The only one who could read. But he lived. The Ramban lived in the 13th century, in the 1200s, right? And I wonder if they Bismana said the Kutim could read it. If the Samaritans up there, if they can read it, it'll be fascinating to find out. Anyway,
Rabbi,
yeah.
Tonight is Ezra Sofer's yard site. Thanks for mentioning.
Because of your son's name's Ezra?
No, because it's there's the Gemara says we should be fasting 3 days because of translating the Torah by Ptolemy and Ezra Sofer tonight, and then Asar B'Teves.
Okay, I'm glad you told me so I don't have to fast. But anyway, Nussin's having a heart attack over there. Anyway.
Strange Philly guy, that's all.
Okay.
Nothing else to say.
You think they're never going to be the same?
No. I invited him back. Okay, anyway, people still watching.
Tell me to hang up, baby, and I'll hang up.
No, we're good. Says Rav Shimon Azai Mishum Elezem and Parta, Shama Mishum Ebalaza Hamidoi, Ksav Zeloin Nishtana Kolik. It never was changed at all. In other words, it was Ashuris, and it always was Ashuris. It never was Ivris. Shenemar Vave Oimdim. It says the Vave, the hooks of the Mishkan, they were Vave Hamudim, the Vavim on the Krushim, they were Vavim, they were hooks. Ma Amudim Loin Nishtanu. We know that whatever Moshe made is around forever, guys. The Krushim they're still around. So just like they weren't changed, af vavim lo nishtanu. So too the vavim weren't changed, and there is no only in Ashuris do you have the vav looking like a hook. Guys, you look at a vav; it looks like a hook, right? A vav looks like a hook. So only in Ashuris do you have it. So you have three shitas, guys. You have the shita that it was given the Ivris and changed to Ashuris. You have the shita that what it was Ashuris, Ivris, Ashuris, and now you have a shita. It was always Ashuris. The third shita, it's always like Ashuris. Okay, this is interesting now because it's a little. Rabbi Yossi, I guess, is a Tana could argue on this. He argues on Shimon Elazar. It says in Esther, the Yehudim kiksavim cheshonam. Malashonam lenishtana, just like the language lashon kodesh never changed. Af ksavim lenishtana, so too their written word, the written letters never changed. Elamani mekayim mishnah Torah zois. Well, according to this, it says Mishnah Torah mashmet did change. It says well l'shtei Torahs achash yotze minichlas imay v'achash menachas loy bebeis genazav. Oisa shiyotze minichlas imay oisa yisakim kameya v'toyle bezroya. The one that went in and out with him, it was like a kameya v'toyle bezroya. It's amazing. The kameya, you think, guys, is an amulet around the neck. He had the Sefer Torah written and hanging from his arm like a bracelet. You talk about a tiny Torah. I was thinking about it. Did you ever see these people who write on rice?
Yeah.
They write on rice. They write like crazy things on a piece of rice. They must have had Seifrim that could write, I think, a Torah, Torah, but he's carrying around, you know, he was wearing it. It had to be with him all the time. Shenemar, Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit. He had to have it that Hashem should be with him all the time. The Idach. Now, Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi, they use Mishnah Torah to tell me that the Kasab changed. So what do they do with Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit? Because they don't need it. The one who says Shvisi is because Mishnah Torah, because he says it never changed. But they used it that it changed. So what do I do with Shvisi? Hi Shvisi, my Darish Bey. Oh, mi boyle the kid Rav Chana bar Bisna. Dom Rav Chana bar Bisna. Rav Shem Chasida. Hamispal. Some Davins. Sorach Sheyira Atzmai Kilu Shechina Connector. As if the Shechina is opposite him. Therefore, you'll find in Shul Shnemar Shvisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit. Okay. Now Rav Shimon the Amak Sav Zelo Nishtana. Okay. So now it's very geschmack, guys. So according to the first opinion, it was written in Ivris, and it changed to Ashuris. According to the second opinion, it was Ashuris, and it changed to Ivris. According to Rav Shimon ben Elazar, it was always Ashuris, right? So why couldn't they read it? Well, it appeared on the wall, and none of the Jews could read it. Why couldn't they read it? Because it was written in Ashuris, and they were used to Ivris. But like to the opinion, there was never Ivris, there was always Ashuris. Why couldn't they read it? Why couldn't they read the writing on the wall? This is the Lashon where you see the writing on the wall, right? That's where it comes from, right? So why could they read the writing on the wall? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and say exactly what the writing on the wall was.
That was Ivris. When it says, because Ezra was after. Ezra was followed when he went to
L'shoinam, what language do they speak? Lashon Kodesh. So that's the Dimyan. Just like they spoke Lashon Kodesh to Ksav, Kiksavam, Ukashoinam. You're making a hekesh between the language spoken and the written word. So just like the language never changed, so too just like the language never changed, the word never changed. Yes. So that's his right. This is the opinion of the one who holds it. Always was Ashuris.
Well, this is one of the languages Mordechai spoke. He spoke 70 languages.
But right. But now, my loy kahalin kasval lemikri. Why couldn't they read it? In other words, it was written in Ashuris. Why couldn't they read it? So Amar Rav bigematria ichtav lahain. It was written yat idach pugach. Okay, I can't. So guys, this is. I'll show you what this is. Again, we need. I sent this out, guys. I sent it out. We need not this. We need this. You got it? The funny lines. You see that? The aleph, all that. Actually, make it smaller. You got this? You got the eye chart, Dr. Press? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So now they wrote the following: Minei, Taklin, Uparsin. It's written like this, right? But that was the message, which is you counted, which is, the message is, you counted, right? Your days are numbered, and the Persians are going to take over. That was the message. But it wasn't written like this. It was written in Atbash, guys. It was written in Atbash. So look at the Gemara. Yud in Atbash, you go backwards. Chaf is Lamed, right? So Aleph is tough. So Yud, here's Yud, is Mem. And then you get a Tes is what? Is Nun. And then you get a Saf is an Aleph. So the word Minei is Yud, Tes, Saf. Minei, Yud, Tes, Saf. And then it says Pagachmat. So that, you go ahead and you do that, it spells this out. Right? It's that aspect. So therefore they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure it out. They could see the letters, but they didn't have any meaning to the letters. So according to this, it wasn't, they couldn't read it. Like I couldn't read yata, adabata, but they couldn't read that either. Next. So therefore, and my parish, what's the parish? Lahu, minei, takil uparsin, minei eloch malchusach. You're right, you counted your malchus, it's finished. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's finished. To kill, what does that mean? To kill to be miznaya, it was weighed on a scale, vishtakas chaser, and you were found wanting. Parsoyin malchusla v'yav, what does that mean? Parisis malchusach, your malchus is broken, v'yavis lemadayu paras. And now Balshatza, and he died. He was assassinated, and it was given over to what? So that was the message. Shmuel Amar, it was the message they couldn't read because it was a little differently. It was written a shtickle backwards. Mem, guys, take the letter, the first letter of the first word and the first letter of the second word, and the first letter of the third word. Minei. Second letter of the first word, second letter of the second word, second letter of the third word, Minei. Right? So you got the drift, right? You were going down the line. That was the way it was written according to Shmuel. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan says it was written backwards. Minei, but it's written backwards, right? And finally, Rav Ashi Amar, Nama, it was jumbled. Nemei is Minei, Kotel, Takel, person. Those are the different ways. That's how they couldn't figure it out. So it wasn't, according to Reb Shimon Elazar, it wasn't they couldn't figure out the letters. They couldn't figure out the meaning. According to the other ones, they Pasha couldn't even read it. They couldn't read it because it was written in Ivris, and it was written in Ashuris, and they only spoke what? Ivris, and they only knew Ivris. Says the Mishnah. Ein roichin al suso, you can't ride on a king's horse. Vein yeshivin al kiso, you can't sit on his throne. This is all because of COVID. Vein mishtamoshim b'shavito, you can't use his scepter or his other kelim yuchit to him. Vein roya oisoi kashu mistape, you can't look at him when he's taking a haircut. V'lo kashu arim, nor when he's unclothed. V'lo kashu bebeis hamerchatz, when he's in the shvitz. Shenemar soin tosim alecha melech shetei maso alecha. So you notice you have to have ema, tremendous fear of the melech. Amar Yaakov Bar Yochanan. So in the first parak of Malachim, we have an incident where David at the end of his life is freezing. David is always cold. He was 70 years old, he was cold, but he was unnaturally cold. David went ahead, when Shaul went to the cave to go to the bathroom, he wanted to prove to Shaul that he could kill him. So what he did was he cut off a piece of his clothing. So there's two pshatim. Either he took it off the tzitzis, and he passed the tzitzis, or he was wearing the big day malucha shawl, and he was poigim in the big day malucha. So therefore, as a mida keneged mida, since you didn't, you ruined the big day malucha, but still at the end of your life you didn't have enough from it, and therefore he was cold. Okay. So now what did they do? They got a girl. And this girl would be mishamish him, not live with him, not have relations with him, but she would be mishamish him, and she would warm him up. So Amar Rav Yaakov Rabbi Yochanan, Avishag muteres l'shlomo. So they found Avishag Shunamis, incredibly beautiful woman, and she was mutter to Shlomo. Basur Ladinyahu, but Asat Adinyahu, who wanted her. He wanted her, and they killed him as a result. He was Shekamar b'Malchus. Muteres l'Shlomo de Melechaya, uMelech mishtamish b'Shavita shel Melech, and a Melech can be mishamish with the Shavit of another Melech. Basur Ladinyahu, the head Yidhu. Avishag Mahi, who's Avishag? What are you talking about? Ichsiv Amelech David Zaken Baba Yomim, and was freezing. Vayomalu avodav yivakshu knaira uksiv vayivakshu naira yafa uksiv v'naira yafa ad ma'oid v'atila melech sekenes she sekenes she rubbed him v'tishraseu she was shamis him. Amro, she said to David, Ninasran, let us get married. I guess it was very uncomfortable for her. She said, let us get married Nasman. Now she was a young girl and he was 70, but he said Nasman. Amalah, so David told her, seriously, asirasali, you're also to me, because I have 18 wives, I can't marry you. So Amalei, chasra leganva, nafsha l'shlama nakat. Very interesting lesson. Look at Rashi explains. Amalei, she said to David, chasra leganva, nafsha l'shalma nakat. Kishaganav chasa, sheina moitzi makam lignoiv, when a ganav can't find a place to steal from, machzik atzmei ba'nava, ki ish shalom. Kloimar, b'feishes zakanta, v'toshes koichacha, ata oimesh sha'ani asurulcha. In other words, you're too old, and that's why you're telling me. You're telling me that what? That I can't. You're not telling me the real reason. You're giving me a foot. You're telling me that. Oh, you know what? Like a ganav says, oh, he can't find a place to steal anymore. So therefore, he's this ganav. You're saying that what? Oh, you can't marry me because you're unable to live together with me. Anyway, what happened? So, Amalahu karli lebat sheva. Uksiv atavi bat sheva lamelech hachadara. Amrav Yudam Rav bois shah kincha bat sheva b'shleisha shar. Mapais David lived with her 18 times. Excuse me, I said 18? No, 13 times. And David showed that he was telling the truth. He didn't want to go marry her because why? Because he had 18 wives. In truth, I heard of a very geschmacka reason. If Avishag would have married David and David was dying and he knew he was dying, she wouldn't be able to get married for the rest of her life. She'd be usher to everybody. So he really did her a tremendous taiva. David knew he was dying. He was 70 years old. It was at the end of his life. Right? And David, if he would have married Avishag, she won't be able to marry somebody else. Anyway, Amrav Shami. What? Okay, so Amrav Shami Barabba, boy re'ei kama koshin gerishin. You see how difficult gerishin is. Shei David Amelech hitir lo liyachid. David mated himself to be miyachid with Avishag. Hitir lo garish, but he did not go ahead and permit it what to be megarish. I'll show you a very interesting Rashi about names, fellas. Is Bathsheba one name or two names? Is Bathsheba one name or two names? Good shot, right? So, right? Okay, so look at Rashi. This is fascinating Rashi. Kontra Bathsheba. Sheba Allah Yud Biyos. He lived with her 13 times. Neches bein tashmish to tashmish. She cleaned herself. She wiped herself between each tashmish. Uvemikra zeh ksuvim, and this pasuk says sholish esrei tevos. 13 words. So that's how you know they would get it 13 times. You count with me, guys. Batavai, Batsheva, that's 3. Elamelech is 5. Hachadara is 6. Vamelech Zake Ma'od is 9. Vavishag Hashunamis is 11. Mishari says Amelech is 14. It's 14. So you see a raya that Batsheva is one word, guys. You see from here a raya that Batsheva is one word, or else you'd have 14 words instead of 13. Shmak. Okay. Amr Eliezer. And now we're going to go into Gerishin and the covet of Isha. Very fast. Again, going along, this parak has got to be one of the most Shmaka pairs and shots. Each staff is one's better than the next. Amr Eliezer. Kol Megarish Asishtei Rishayna. Anyone who divorces his first wife, Afil Mizbeach Meir Love the Mois. The Mizbeach cries tears for him. Shnemar V'zois Sheinis Tasu. Two things. Kosas dimes mizbeach Hashem. You cover the dimes mizbeach Hashem. Bachi it cries v'anak and it sighs me'ein. Oit pnois ala mincha v'lakacha ratzim b'yetchem. Uksiv amatim alma. Why? Why does Hashem go ahead and not receive the kabbanis? Right? Ki Hashem heyed beincha ubein eshes nevarecha. That Hashem goes ahead and testifies between you and the wife of your youth. Asher ata begadataba. You went ahead and you rebelled against her. V'cha vercha, and she is your companion. Ve'eshes brisecha, and the wife of your bris. So in other words, Mizbeach, Sakmasek, V'Kobarnis, that's how kosher Gerishin is. Now, what's the reason that the Mizbeach is crying tears? That'll give you the Torah Chaim, guys. What? How come I don't have the Torah Chaim? Okay, I do have the Torah Chaim. Chol says Yishta Rishayna Afil Mizbeach Meir Love the Mois Yesh Lefarish Lefisha Adam V'Chava Nivru Guf Echad Du Pertzufim. We saw a Gemara in Ksubis and Erevin that Adam and Chava were created back to back. They were Siamese twins. Umin Azbeach Nivro, It says Vayiven, and he said he went ahead, and where did he create Adam Rishon from? Min ha'adama, Makam asher Ama Mizbeach Adama Tasali. Adam was created from the Makam Mizbeach. K'masher Chasav Chachamim Afa Min Adama Min ha'adama Mimakam Shnemar Mizbeach Adama Tasali. Lekach Kol Aboygid Be'eshes Nurav. Anyone who rebels, who is Garish, his first wife, Shehi Bazugoy. She is what? The one that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him. Mitchilasa Yitzir from the beginning of time. Umigarsha. Oisim Kimin Pegam B'Mizbeach. Shenivru Mimenu Lekach Moral of the Mois. Therefore, Dafkin Mizbeach that they're created from, right, is the moral of the Mois. Beautiful Torah Chaim to explain the comparison to what? To Mizbeach. Why the Mizbeach? Very, very geschmack. The Torah Chaim is unbelievable. I heard, I always say over b'shem, unfortunately, being in chinuch for many years, Nasan could attest, you have kids in school who are acting out. Unfortunately, a lot of times they come from divorced homes. Yeah, divorced homes is very, very, very difficult. The children they suffer. Says Rapam, you know what the Mizbeach's crying for? The kids. The Mizbeach, the tears in the Mizbeach is for the kids. It's for the kids, right? It's for the kids. It's like not to be Messiah, the confusion and the trauma that it causes to children. Continues the Gemara. Bam Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Adam Shemesa Ishta Rishayna, anyone who loses his first wife, Ki Luchor Beis Hamikdash B'Yamav, like the Beis Hamikdash is what? Is Chorev in his days. Shenemar, Ben Adam, Hineni Lokech Mchoes. This is by Yecheskel, fellas. Yecheskel, Kodesh Baruch Hu, we learn out a lot of halachas of Avelis from Yecheskel. It says, Ben Adam, Hineni Lokech Mcho, I'm going to take from you, Es Machmad Einecha, the desire of your eyes, your wife. B'Magefa, V'lei Sisboid, don't go ahead and be maspid her. V'lei Sifcha, don't even cry about her. V'lei Tavu Dem Osecha, Uksiv V'adaber La'am Ba'Boiker, V'Thomas Ishtoi Be'erev, Uksiv Hineni Mechales Mikdashi, Go'oin Uschem, Machmad Einechem. So you have the lashon of Machmad Einechem speaking about the Beis HaMikdash. We have Machmad Einechem speaking about what? One's wife, and the wife is dying. This is equal to the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. Yecheskel is Shem is telling Yecheskel not to cry to be masked with his wife, right? And the people ask him, why aren't you mourning? Yecheskel tells them suffering is symbolic of the tragedy that'll come to Yisrael. That his suffering is symbolic of that. Anyway, Amar Rabbi, Alexandria, Kol Adam Shemesa Ishtay B'Yamav, anyone who's who loses his wife, Oilam Choshach Bado. The world is in dark because of him. Shnemar Or Choshach Ba'oloi B'Neira Olav Yidach. The light in his tent. I don't know what this pasuk is. No, I don't know. Or Choshach Ba'oloi, the light of his tent. It comes dark, and the Neira Olav Yidach, and the Neira becomes Yidach. It goes out. His steps become shorter. Shenemar Yetsu Tzadei Oinoi, the steps of the strong will be shortened. His advice falls from him. Shenemar that she'll give him an eitzah, and she doesn't have a wife to give an eitzah. Amar Rabba Barachanam V'Yochanan Koshel Izavrim Kriyas Yamsuf. Gemara in the beginning, Saita, very famous Gemara. Kadosh Baruch Hu puts two people together. It's Koshel Kriyas Yamsuf to put them together. Shnemar Elakim Moshe Yechidim Beisa Meitzim Asirim B'Ksharos for the proper moment. Ini is really so. V'Am Rabbi Yehuda Amarav Aboyim Yom Kaidim Mitzir Savlad Bas Kol Yotzes Omeres Bas Ploini Ploini. So what do you mean? It's already predetermined who the person's going to marry. Why do you mean that? What it's based upon putting together Kriyas Yamsuf like Kasha. Haba Zivig Rishon, Haba Zivig Sheni. Zivig Rishon is the one that is called 40 days before. And Zivig Sheni is what is based upon Kriyas Yamsuf. Very famous Meiri over here. My Lenny doesn't remember, but it was my drasha by Shaver Brachas, my Shabbos Shaver Brachas. Anyway, so it's basically the Meiri says that a person, if he gets married, but before he's 20, he doesn't have meisim. Person not by meisim until he's 20. That's Zivig Rishon. So when Koshel of Kriyas Yamsuf, it goes according to a person's meisim after 20 years old. So the Zivig Rishon that is predetermined. That's if a man gets married before he's 20 years old. After 20 years old, that's the Zivig Sheni. You can change anything except the wife of your youth. Shnemar ve'eshes neurim ki timoes, and the wife of youth, right? Timoes ki timoes That she's going to be thrown away. Masila Rav Yehuda Rav Yitzchak Berei, ein adam moitzi kairis ruach ela meishta rishayna. The contentment, the kairis ruach, a guy only finds with his first wife. Shenemar yehi mekarcha baruch, v'samach mei eshes amid beis nu rayach, nu rechel. Amaloi kigain man. So his son asked Rav Yitzchak, and Rav Yitzchak is Rav Yitzchak is speaking to his son. His son is what's an example of a wife that what is eshes Nurim. So I'm like Kigainimach, your mother. Any is really so that his mother was like so content to live with the mother. But Mikrilah of Yehuda of Yitzchak Berei, I find a woman worse than death. Asher he meets Sudim b'charamim. She's like a trap. V'amaloi, and his son asked him like who, and he said Gaiman v'amaloi Kigainimach. So l'chayra, what do you mean that she's content with? Says no. Matgif Tkifa. She's a takif. She's a takif. However, iburi ma'avra b'mila. She overcomes her nature. She goes against the base nature. Amr Shum bar Unya mishmei de Rav. Isha goylam. A woman is a goylam. Now a goylam is an unfinished. Let's view a piece of clay. So anything that, or a piece of metal before it's minted. So that's the goylam. It doesn't have a tsura yet. It's not a kli yet, right? It's just a goylam. Who does a woman go ahead and make her emotional attachment to? She makes an emotional attachment to the one who makes her a kli, meaning the one who lives with her makes her from a basula to a ba'ula. That's the one that she's caresses bris. Shenemar ki ba'alayich esayich Hashem tzavaka shemay. Ki ba'alayich esayich. So you see, fascinating that a woman is caresses bris with the one she lived with first. That's the one, the special, unique. And it's a beautiful, there's a Tosfos in the beginning of Ksubis speaks about it, Daf Daled, why do we call the Bia Rishayna Bia Mitzvah? Because the first Bia is going to make a roy for the Mitzvah of what? Of Perverivya. But the Sully Bornstein quoted the Aznayim L'Torah. Aznayim L'Torah is the Lutz Garav of Zalman Saratskin. He said something that's gavaldik. If an Ashes Ish is Mizaneh, what does she get? She dies, right? Which one of the four mises? Chenek. Don't worry, by the end of this Masechta, guys, you're going to be experts in all four mises. Chenek, she gets chenek. What about a Nairu Marasa? Gets skila. This guy goes from chenek. Chenek is the easiest of the four deaths, but he gets a Nairu Marasa, is what? Is skila. It's the worst. This girl, she's married to this guy. She's not living with him yet. Remember, it's the 12 months not living together. You know what this guy did? He took away that ability. Ein isha caresses bris el misha asakli. He took away that ability, the one that you live with first. That's what he took away. That's why he gets skila. That's what Nine Torah says. That's why he gets skila ad kedei kach, because you did something that was so. You took away something special, unique, right? Something special, unique. Says the Gemara Vaita. Ein isha tana. Ein isha meis elo leishtay. Who feels the death of a husband the most is the wife. And who feels the death of a woman, a wife, is a husband. And why does it say Ish Naomi? She felt it the most. By Yaakov Avinu, this week's Parsha, guys. This week's Parsha. And so you see Mesa Alai Rachel, so you see that the death was what to Yaakov. Okay, you said can't see him when he's taking a haircut. You can't see him in the bathhouse. You can't see him arim. Tan Rabbanan Melech Mistape B'chol Yom. A king takes a haircut every day. Kain Gadol me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. Kain Gadol takes erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. Kain Hedjit Echel L'Shleishin Yom, once every month. Melech Mistape B'chol Yom. Shnemar Melech B'Yafyev Techzenei Necha. A melech in his beauty your eyes should see. You see, taking a haircut is something that's a very beautiful thing. For a person to have hair that's just wild and a little loose, that's not so good, right? But don't worry, Tzvik, I'm not speaking to you. Says the Gemara, Kain Gadol Erev Shabbos. A Kain Gadol takes every Erev Shabbos. Am Rav Shmuel ben Nachman, Am Rav Yochanan, Hoyel Mishmar Reis Mischadres. Since the Mishmar every Shabbos changes, remember every Mishmar the Beisab changed, so a new one came in. So they're seeing the Kain Gadol for the first time. So therefore they had to see him in his beauty, so he took a haircut. So the king, Melech B'Yafiv Techzenei Necha, had to take a haircut every day, and the Kain Gadol every week, because the Mishmar came in every week. Kain Hedid Echel Shleishim Yom D'Chsiv V'roisham lo yigalechu, and their heads they shouldn't shave. Upera lo yishalechu, and they shouldn't grow a chup. Kosam yichsemu es rashayim, trim. They should trim their heads. V'yolav pera nasa. Learn out pera from nasa. Again, we need 30 days. Because if pera lo yishalechu, it says pera lo yishalechu, you shouldn't let grow. Because if hasam gadol pera sa roishay by the nazir. Mala halan shleishim yoyim by the nazir af kam shleishim yoyim. The tan nami stam nazir is shleishim yoyim. V'hasam inolan the stam nazir is 30 days. Rav Masna damakra kodesh yiyeh b'gematria is tilson havi. Take the word guys. Yiyeh. Yud hey is what is 15. Yud hey is 15. Kodesh yiyeh shivat. He should be kodesh for 15 plus 15 for 30 days. And Mamela now koyin that you make the comparison pera. You make a comparison that what for 30 days. Amalei papalabaya emle lirbi klal. Maybe you shouldn't grow at all. In other words, why do you say 30 days? Maybe the kohen shouldn't grow at all. So Amalei ikasav leishalechu pera. If we would say you don't grow a chup, kidakamer. Hashidachsivu pera. You have an existing chup. It says pera lahav should be a chup. And it shouldn't go more than 30 days. Why doesn't the kohen take? After all, kohen should have to bisman be who to us. It's only when you come into the base of Mikdash, bisman be a shari. And since what you can't walk into the base of Mikdash these days, you don't have to take a haircut. The yayin shlei bisman be a shari. Are they able to drink wine? But Tanya Rabbi Omer ani kahana masurim lishlas yayin lo'olam. But they shouldn't be able to drink because you never know when the base of Mikdash is coming. Of a ma'aseh shetakanta kilkaltoi, meaning the kilkel of the base of Mikdash is the takana that they're able to drink. Rabbi, Kiman Shasi Kani Charma Idna, who do they drink? Bisman Azek Rebbe. The Rebbe said the kilkolta, the kilkel that the base of Mikdash restored, is the takana. So therefore, Rebbe was the one who matted them to go ahead and drink what? Wine. Mechal de Rabbanan Asri. So Mechal de Rabbanan Rasa. So the Rabbanan say it's us, you should take a haircut also. Hasam Haimataima, Meheri Yabana. L'chayra, if the Rabbanan say you can't drink, then just like you can't drink because the base of Mikdash is going to be rebuilt, so too you should have to take a haircut every single day because maybe the base of Mikdash is going to be rebuilt. Says Gemara, that's the reason by drinking. Meheri Yibana base of Mikdash, Shabin Kayin Aroi, Lavaida Veleka. Hachanami Bin Kayin Aroi Lavaida Veleka, by a haircut. Hachamesh the Misape, go to a barber. Va'ayel. Hasanami, after the Nayim port of Ayel, let him sleep it off a little bit. Says Ravacha. Derech mil b'sheina kolshu mafigan es hayayin. Walking a mill and sleeping takes off the power of wine. That's only if you drank a quarter of a loig. If you could drink an abyssal nair, you get more drunk by sleeping by walking. So therefore, you don't have that ability to, that's why they said the difference. Why can you not take a haircut every day? Because you can take one right away. Why do Rabbanan hold you can't drink? Because you won't have time to sober up. See, I see David Friedman, the Kohen, is getting very excited over there. He's going like this. So the haircut, you can go to the barber. It's not a problem. The haircut, you go to a barber, it's not a problem. But drinking, the Meheri Yibana, if you drank too much, therefore you can't drink because you may not be able to go ahead and sleep it off. Rav Ashi Yama, a different reason. Shtu yayin, the machli avoida, gosbu rabbanan. Shtu yayin, which if you do, you're drunk, the avoida is mechalal, it's not good. Therefore, in that case, they said, you know what? You can't drink bisman hazeh. Prure roish lemechali avoida, but if a person does the avoida, kohen does the avoida needing a haircut, which is not a mechalal avoida, like gosbu rabbanan, that bisman hazeh, they shouldn't be able to take a haircut. That's the difference. Okay, so you have two differences. One, haircut you can take care of. Drinking you can't take care of. Two, the drinking is mechal de avoida, so it's more severe. Purei roish, which is not mechal de avoida, so they're not so machmer. Meisavei, the elu she b'misa, these are umechoyev misa b'nei shemayim. Purei roish u'shtui yayin. The bishleim shtui yayin nechsev yayin b'sheich al teisht atu v'nechav leitamusu. El purei roish minolon. How do you know if you didn't take a haircut that you mechayev misa? Yeskuye shtui yayin le purei roish. Siv roishon le yigalechu u'peri lo yishalechu v'yayin lo yishtu. Mashtu yayin b'misa, purei roish b'misa. Umina, mashtu yayin the machli avoida, purei roish the machli avoida. So you have a kasha, guys. And achinami, a kohen bisman hazeh should have to go ahead and not take a haircut because he is mechal de avoida. Like the second reason, the says kasha in achinami, it's a kasha. Omer Avinu Ravashi. Hi, Adalei Osi Yecheskel, my Amit. Now, the whole parsha of Purei Rosh B'Misa is we learn that from passing Yecheskel, guys. So now, until Yecheskel came along, right? How do we know? Well, Taimech, Hadam Rav Chisda, Dabe Zeh, Mitoris Moshe Rabbeinu Loi Lamadnu, At Shabbai Yecheskel V'Lamadnu, Kol Ben Necho Orel Leiv, Orel Basa Layavel Mikdashi L'Shaseni. Now, it means over here a person who makes himself like Ben Necho. He's making himself like a friend to Hashem. Ad Labi Yecheskel Man Omra. Ella, why do you have to say Gemor Gemir? You're Adam Messiah. V'Yasi Yecheskel V'Asmakra. Yecheskel found a asmachta, a place to be Samech Distin. Achanami Gemor Gemirila. We had a Messiah that Purei Rosh is Mechal Avoda. V'Yasi Yecheskel V'Asmakra, and he found the sauce. My kisim yichsuas shayim. The pasuk said they trim their heads. Kimin tisporis lulionios. It means a special type of haircut. My tisporis lulionios. I'm Rav Yehuda Meshmuel tisporsa yichida. It's mamish miyuchad. Hechidami. What exactly is it? I'm Ravashi roish shalzeh b'tzad ikra shalzeh. One hair, fellas, touches the root of the other one. One hair touches the root of the other one. It's mamish miyuchadik way to go ahead and take a haircut. Shalu was Rabbi Ezeu Tispar Shel Kohen Gadol. Amalehem So Ru Mistapar Shel Ben Elasa. Elasa was Rabbi's son-in-law. Go look at the haircut of Ben Elasa. Well, Ben Elasa spent a lot of money to go ahead to get this haircut to know how to do it. Tanya Rabbi Yomi Loyal Chinam Piseb Ben Elasa Esmeyah. So if you didn't go ahead and waste this money to learn how to do this haircut, okay, the Haris by Tispar Shel Kohen Gadol, only to show what the Tispar Svat of a Kohen Gadol. Hajjalach Kohen Gadol. Hajjalach Kohen Gadol, Hajjalach Kohen Gadol. Got to be fun. The most geschmacka Tarakim and Shas. Huh?
I get this kind of a haircut, but I have only half a head.
Right.